Legitimately, it seems like every month there's a new MMORPG coming out. Each one promising us this unique new experience, something flashy that catches our attention. To be sure, some of them actually do deliver on that promise. Others, however, are still sitting in alpha. I'm looking at you, Ashes of Creation.
It's been 84 years.
Anyway, given the market for MMORPGs, a lot of players will try these new experiences, play with them for a little bit, but then eventually fall back into these old habits. Now, in my opinion, there is one MMO that has absolutely been the best returning home MMO that you can play in 2023. Not only being respectful of a player's time, but also having great combat, having a wonderful story, a unique world, a thriving community, all these great features, and on top of that has the best payment model of any MMO I've ever seen. There's 3 important reasons why this MMO draws players back even after years of non-playing. And that game, of course, is... Okay, so story time. I've played MMOs for basically my entire gaming career. I started out by playing Warcraft 2 and 3, and of course when World of Warcraft came out, I didn't get to play it. My parents said that gaming could never really amount to much. I kind of pulled a sneaky one on them here, didn't I? Well, a few years later, my sister actually bought the game for me, downloaded it, covered the first couple months of the subscription, and I was enthralled. Now, flash forward to 2016. Legion was just about to come out that fall. However, I had something else coming that fall. I became a father.
Nice.
And with that, all of my free time and all of my hours and hours of gameplay had to take a back seat because I had a responsibility. And I had a little baby girl who needed me. Now, I will admit this process kind of repeated itself. Now I'm a father of 3, which also means that my free time and my game time has basically shrunk to nothing, very little, couple hours, maybe a week. I have a family to support now. I have to not only scrutinize the amount of time I have during the week, as well as the amount of money I'm spending. And eventually a subscription-based game that I only got to play a couple of hours a week really was caught in the crosshair. I still had an itch to play an MMO. I wanted to go out and explore some new world and have something that I could keep playing at and play at my own pace. And I did find a lot of really great games, but a lot of them had a subscription base, or they had a huge time commitment to be able to get anywhere near endgame, except for one game. And if you have watched my channel at any point, I'm pretty sure you could put together what game I'm already hinting at. And of course, the game is Guild Wars 2. I mean, the free-to-play model was an absolute hook. Follow that up by all of your progress is basically saved no matter what you do. I mean, what isn't going to appeal to me at this stage of my life? And on top of that, I could play as much or as little as I want and always work towards something. There's always something I could be doing. To be fair, I did try Guild Wars 2 right before Heart of Thorns, but this was before I was a father, before I had an established career. And I was already paying money for World of Warcraft, and even though I really enjoy Guild Wars 2, it's like, I'm already paying money for this game. Why am I not playing that game? Someone call that the sunk cost fallacy. It wasn't my time to play Guild Wars 2. And I think that's something really important that needs to be talked about, is that Guild Wars 2 isn't that flashy upfront game per se, but that's the game that you essentially, as you get older, will fall into. I mean, the thought process of grinding hours for little power increases and all these other things that you have to work towards, you have to, being the key word, was starting to teeter off. I didn't really like that plan. Now, and I say this as a broad statement, but it is something that I've started to see. I get no less than 5 to 10 comments a week of players talking about coming back to this game. And a lot of players have said they're a little bit older. They have a lot more responsibility. And having to be on this type of gear treadmill, this cycle of constantly working towards the next flavor or the next level is tiresome. I worked a 12-hour day. All I want to do is sit down and do my dailies and play a match of PvP before I go to bed. I've summarized the top 3 reasons that I've seen, not only through comments, but interactions with new players or returning players. If you're enjoying the video thus far, make sure to give it a like and a subscribe so that more casual gamers can enjoy this type of content. Anyway, so the first and probably the most important thing about this game is its horizontal progression, as it's been talked about, but the idea that I can pick up and play when I want to, and then step away when I need to. I don't have to feel obligated to load in every single day, do what I need to. I can play basically what I want. I can do as much of the game as I want or do as little as I want. And I can achieve most things in game with moderate effort. It's really not that challenging. And honestly, it's more bang for your buck. But even in those cases of like, oh, I don't have time to play or I'm too tired. And that leads me into my second reason, is because they don't have to pay for the hours that they're not playing. Guild Wars 2's model of purchase the game, play as much as you want, and not having to worry about spending money for all the time that you're not able to play. Times change, things change weekly, daily. The amount of hours that you actually have to sit down and play the video game shouldn't be punished or feel like work because you're already paying this money. You purchase the expansion, go have fun, go crazy, go do what you want. And honestly, I find that more people are spending money on the in-game gem store, the cash shop, because they don't have to pay a subscription. I don't have to pay $15 a month, but I can easily drop $20 to get some cool unique skin, or perhaps a new bank tab, or something of that feature. And then on top of that, all future content that is going to be rolling out, all the things that they are developing, is essentially free as long as it's tied to that particular expansion. You get every story that follows that main character arc. It's fantastic. Which leads me to Guild Wars 2 is the best casual MMORPG out there. And it kind of summarizes with the rest of the points. But playing as much or as little as you want to is such a relief. It makes the game more enjoyable. And of course, being able to get a piece of gear, knowing that in 10 months or a year, or when this new expansion comes out, that piece of gear is going to be just as valuable as it is this moment. I don't have to have all my work reset after a new patch. Now, I mean no hate to any World of Warcraft players. I still love the game. I still would like to play it if I had the availability. World of Warcraft doesn't really mesh with my life. Unfortunately, Final Fantasy kind of falls into that same category. Those types of subscription models, I can't fathom paying that money for not being able to play. Perhaps if situations were different, I would take a look at it. But if I only get 2 hours a week, I don't want to have to feel pressured into doing everything that is required of me. And also, as a counterpoint, I'd like to bring up the fact that a lot of MMOs have started to realize that their target audience is leaning a little bit more towards the Guild Wars 2 model. A lot of MMOs are updating to the case that you don't have to spend hours upon hours grinding for a piece of gear. They've lowered that barrier a little bit because it's daunting, especially for a large game that's been out for 10 years. And this is exactly why eventually everyone comes back to Guild Wars 2. We are getting older, folks. We are having less and less time to play. We are having more responsibilities, and that's okay. Real life stuff can be scary, but I promise you it is great in the long run. And the features that Guild Wars 2 brings to the table and their model of play, and this whole game is geared towards those who just want to take it easy and just want to have fun. And of course, I will never say that you were wrong for enjoying another MMO or playing a different game. This is very personal to me, and this is my experience. And I've said this not only on videos, but on stream. If you enjoy a particular game, go and play it. Life's too short to play a game that you don't like. If you want to learn a little bit more about Guild Wars 2, specifically their classes, click this video here. Stay caffeinated, folks.